All right, part two, we're going to be looking at loyalty, customer loyalty and classification of that, and relationship marketing. So this is a cool model to use to categorize different customer loyalty categories. So loyal, so these are the, I'm going to skip forward a slide, then come back, right? So this is the model, what it looks like. We got the share of customer spend, involvement in the actual, together in the marketplace, and then purchasing repertoire, which is like their propensity to purchase more. So we're going to go back to here. So loyals are people in this segment have the highest profit potential and are characterized by active preferences for the brand or firm with strong emotional connections. So loyalty isn't just about how much you spend and how long you stay, it's about the emotions as well. So now we look at loyalty. Customer loyalty is a multi-dimensional construct where it includes their cognitive behaviors, so their cognitive, their affective, their emotional stuff, and their connotative, so their propensity or their will or their drive to do things as well. And all these relate to loyalty behaviors. So, and these loyals can be perceived as a high perceived risk in switching brands. So we want to lose these loyalties. If your loyal customers are leaving, it could be an indication that there's something critically wrong with your business. Right now, habituals. So people in this segment are passive loyals, and they purchase out of habit or inertia, and their decision making is passively. They might exhibit behavioural loyalty, but not actually attitude. So they're loyal in what they do because they just keep buying again and again, but they don't actually feel emotionally connected to the business. They are passive advocates. So it's like, oh, what's that like? Yeah, it's fine. It's not like they're going out there evangelizing for your business. They're just a positive, passive benefit for your business. They're especially susceptible to switching when there is any service failure or competitors' promotional deals, so that because it's a habit, if anything breaks that habit, then you're at risk of losing them. And their retention is based on convenience and switching costs. And typically, we used to say build barriers into switching costs for these customers, because you want to make it difficult for them to switch and leave somewhere else. But really, what you want to do is move them into the loyals now. So actually building barriers, to people switching from one firm to another, in the long run doesn't actually benefit us that much. It's good to have, make it easy there, but you don't want to forcibly restrain, not forcibly, but you don't want to create barriers for people switching. If you can, it'd be better if you could make them want to stay. You know what I mean? So if they want to leave, but there's the barriers that they have to jump to, that's not ideal. It's the wrong way of thinking. A multi-brander, so the people in this group have a small repertoire of service brand characterised by the active search based on quality, price. They have little, if any, involvement with the brand and are likely to defect permanently and often seek variety for its own sake. And you might, like some brands you might want to be loyal to, you just stick to because you like them. And other, brands you just like to mix it up. Switches, these are characterised by large and varied portfolio of brands purchased, are sensitive to price and promotions and have perceived a low risk of switching. And the funny thing is, so I want to go now here to this is the diamond of loyalty. The switches, these ones, so they change quite easily. And for some reason, as marketers, we tend to focus on these ones because we go, we want to increase our customer base, we want to increase our customer share, our share, market share. And these people are the low-hanging fruit, so we go for them when really we should be focusing on these people here. And we talked about the cycle of failure, where we focus on getting new customers from these switches, rather than the cycle of success, where we look at training our staff and to really service these loyal customers as well. All right, we now have another model about marketing strategies for customer segments. So we've got the managing the loyal. Here's one strategy. So your most profitable customers, but only 10 to 20% of your customer base. Easy to take them for granted, like a lot of relationships in life. The people that are most loyal to you, you sort of, because it's always happening, it's always there. You just sort of, it's just naturally take them for granted. So we've got to constantly remind ourselves that these are our good customers, and although we sort of lean on them and it's always there, not to take them for granted in a way that's going to be detrimental to your business. Right, managing habituals, so profitable customers representing up to 30% of your customer base. Managing multi-branders, so these are the ones that are buying multiple things at the same time. So high potential for profit increase. If we can switch them into, I shouldn't say switch because there's a whole thing for switch, but if we can move them into more of the loyal category, there's going to be good potential for growth there. And they represent, average 25 to 50% of your customer base. We're going to look at the diamond, not the diamond, the pyramid coming up, and that's going to sort of give the indicators a little bit more of the different customer value segmentation, but because these numbers do change obviously for different markets. And then we've got the managing switches. So profits follow low costs of service for up to 25% of your customer base, and you need to work with these people, of course, because they're still valuable customers, but don't waste all your time with them. That's kind of it's too easy to go spend all your time with these people when really we should be working with these ones. All right, so the customer profit matrix. I'm going to skip forward a slide again so you can see the matrix and come back. So this one here is the customer profitability matrix. We've got in here the customer profitability on the y-axis and the cost of service on the x-axis. So when there's a low profitability and low cost of service, we want to build these ones, right? Now, when the customer profitability is actually high and the servicing them is low, we want to protect them because this is the most valuable for us, right? When the profitability for our customers is actually low, but it's expensive for us to service them, danger zone. These customers here could be costing our business. And then we've got here those that are highly profitable, but they're also high to service. So then we want to cost re-engineer those to get them really into this one here. Now these are divided into quarters. It's not representative of the size of the market, so it's going to be different for each one. These are different categories, right? So protect. These are the high net worth customers that make few demands on the organisation and thus cost little to service. Strong relationships must be developed with this group. And if you are a CEO or a managing director, really you want to have a good relationship with your customers. So you have your key account managers and your sales staff and business development and all that sort of stuff. But a lot of successful companies, the senior leadership team are close to the biggest and most valuable customers as well. So build. So this is a group have low cost to serve, but also low net revenue earners. The aim should be to identify those with potential to grow and then target them and move them up to a more valuable segment. Danger zone. This group should be looked at very carefully as a medium term prospects of improving sales, reducing the cost of service to them. Is there a strategic reason for keeping them? Costs a lot to service them, but we don't make much money out of them. Like why? And it could be these people in the danger zone. They might not be immediately, not be directly good for our business, but we could be getting a lot of customer referrals for those. And you might experience this in business as well, where you go, well, this customer in itself, just based on revenue and profit, isn't very valuable, but these customers do bring in a lot of extra business. So just measuring, and it'd be a mistake then just to measure based on money, because if they are really good at word of mouth, the value to your business goes beyond revenue and profit. So then you're going to try either account for that in your analysis or change the way you measure things to more accurately measure the things that we care about. And cost re-engineer. So this group could be profitable if the cost to serve them could be reduced. This one here. Right, so now we're going to get to the tiering of services. So marketers should adopt a strategic approach to retaining, upgrading, or even terminating customers. So customer retention involves developing long-term, cost-effective links with customers for the mutual benefit of both parties. And that's important. Hopefully by now you're well and truly out of the idea that ripping off your customers is not good marketing. It's a colloquial expression where someone gets deceived by a marketing person or like a salesperson, and they go, oh, it was good marketing, they got me, they tricked me into buying something I didn't even want, right? That, by very definition, is bad marketing. So as marketing professionals now, it's sort of good for us to educate the community about what good marketing is. Customer tiers can be developed around different levels of profit contribution, needs, and identifiable personal profiles such as demographics and culture. So Zemel and Rust and Lemon they use the concept of the customer period. And I love this model. It's a really good one. In here, we've got the most profitable customers and the least profitable customers. This research is a little bit old. I've got the, it was published in 2001 in the California Management Review. Now, so it's 20 years old, and we've kind of moved on from profit, the most profitable customers, to the most valuable customers. For that key reason I was talking about, sometimes our customers might not bring the most profit, but they still bring in a lot of other valuable benefits to our business. So you've got to try and account for that as well. So in here we have platinum, gold, iron, and lead. In the platinum, this segment spends the most with us over time, costs least to maintain, and spreads positive word of mouth. They are our platinum, so they're the most valuable to our business. Well, the lead segment costs us in time and effort and money and does not provide the return we want. What segment is difficult to do business with? And some customers are just really difficult. They're like just annoying to work with. Like they're more work, they're more effort than what they're worth, right? And if you don't manage your business well, you're going to end up growing these lead ones, and the lead, they drag your business down, where you really want to try and thin out the lead ones and get more platinum ones. All right, so we've got another one here, adapted from this. So this is the reference to that one that I was talking about. So good customer relationships are platinum, poor customer relationships are lead. So which segment sees high value in our offer, spends more with us over time, costs less to maintain, and spreads positive word of mouth? Again, reinforcing the idea. If you can do this triangle in your the customer period in your business, you will definitely improve. Now it's easy for me to tell you that, and there's a reason why this is coming last in this unit, because well, that's quite powerful. You can't just go, oh, this is what I want to do, and then go do it. You need to know all the things that we've covered so far to be able to do this, right? You need to know, what your segmentation is, what your targeting is, what your positioning is, how you're going to manage your the strategy, what your marketing strategy is, how you're going to deliver on that, all the different P's of this marketing mix, all your customer satisfaction, how you're going to measure that. All these things get to this final point of very difficult marketing of customer value segmentation. All right, leaky bucket theory. This is a really cool theory because it's simple to comprehend. So the leaky bucket theory suggests that companies are always losing customers, which is true. Like customers, either they retire or they move into a different, they get a new job, whatnot. Even you could be the best business ever, but you're still going to lose customers because it's just, not everyone does the same thing for the rest of their life. So leaky bucket theory is that companies are always losing customers. So to maintain our market share, you need to have equal number of new customers to keep the bucket full, so to speak. And this is a picture. I know it's not real good, but I just ripped this off the internet. There's a bucket, and the bucket's got holes. These are your customers falling out. So the idea is to fill up the bucket, right? Now, to grow your share, you have to be especially good at getting new customer acquisition, or you have to slow the leak. And we've talked about this a fair bit in services marketing now. For some reason, when the bucket's leaking, our natural instinct is to try and fill it back up again. But before we try and fill up the bucket, why don't we think about plugging the holes, the causes for us to lose the bucket. And it comes back to senior management, because if they say, how many new customers have we got? What's our market share? Have you signed up people? If they keep asking those questions, then the marketing team are going to go out there and try and recruit new customers. And they take the existing customers, the most valuable customers, for granted. So maybe senior management need to ask is, how are our most valuable customers going? What is their, NPS, what's it stand for again? The Net Promoter Score. What is the Net Promoter Score of our platinum customers? What's the CSAT? What's the customer satisfaction level of our platinum customers? If they went out there and asked us these questions more often, we'd spend a lot more time managing our most valuable relationships and a lot less time trying to fill up a bucket that just keeps leaking, right? So the idea of plugging the leak becomes more popular with theorists who sold the idea to practical marketers who believe without any evidence that retention is cheaper than acquisition. And it's not true, right? And we know this now. Now, leaky bucket theory is it's an overly simplistic model, but it's a beautiful one. So if I go back here and start talking about this customer value segmentation for this customer pyramid, it's a little bit harder to conceive how you're going to divide and segment markets based on our perception of customer value and how to measure that, rather than a leaky bucket theory. It's much easier to communicate. Right, so let's look at a framework now for customer retention. So good customer relationships begin with a good fit between customer needs and the service firm's offering. Needs, wants, right? Customers perceive the firm as trustworthy, and they receive at least fair value, and then they're satisfied that the serve at least matches their expectations. So this is the foundation on which all relationships stand. There must be beneficial value, like mutual benefit between the customer and the firm. If you're not doing that, that's the minimum, that's where you start. So 3 basic strategies must be used to retain customers. These strategies would typically be used in tandem, such as create loyalty bonds. And you do that by spending time with them, building trust and commitment, and we'll look at that model coming up. Building switching barriers. Now, I've talked a little bit about this. The switching barriers should be there in one way, but it's much better to make your customers to generate an environment where your customers want to stay than make it difficult for them to leave, all right? But still, this has its role to play. And then reduce churn drivers. Like if you have staff that are untrained, unprofessional, and your customers are leaving because they have poor customer service, then you need to fix those churn drivers, right? Or whatever that might be. It's just an example of one. So here we go. Create loyalty bonds. Play on customer loyalty motives. Engage the customer. It's hard work, but it's what we get paid to do, and it's what benefits the business in the long run. So it gives rewards for loyalty, and these rewards aren't just financial. A lot of the times we can reward our customers the most by giving them attention and just basically telling them how much we appreciate them, right? So we've got these different motives, and we've got these extrinsic motivation and intrinsic motivation. So not all customers are just motivated by money, the cheapest deal. Some customers are actually motivated by the feeling that they're doing business with people that genuinely care about them. Building higher level bonds, then we're building switching barriers such as economic. So to leave, you have to pay exit costs and stuff like that. Talked about that. Psychological, so they've got relationships with your staff. And reduced churn drivers such as diagnostic analysis. When things are going wrong, if you're having service failure, you need to get that fixed as soon as possible. Understand key defection triggers. So if your customers do leave, don't go, oh, well, that's it, they're gone. Ask them, follow them, okay, look, guys, you left. What happened? Is there anything we can do to win you back? Like, why did you leave? And some, especially loyal customers that have been with the business a long time, will often give very detailed feedback and quite harsh feedback, but what you need to hear, like positive in the way that it's good for us to hear, about why they left, because they've spent so much time and effort with your business over the last few years that for them leaving wasn't a small decision, and they care enough to give you that feedback, so take it. Develop retention strategies. And all this will be build a foundation for customer retention through segment, market, match customer needs, and all these things here. All right. Now, relationship marketing. This is a very powerful part of marketing. It was its own single theory to start off with in 2002, and it's grown so big that it's basically all marketing is relationship marketing now. And indeed, the definition of marketing now includes building relationships. So it's hard to comprehend at this stage how relationships weren't a key part of marketing, and then it's hard to imagine an environment where this theory would need to be developed and research contribute to that. But it was, because marketing used to be so much about selling. When it was about after the Second World War, there was a big focus on manufacturing and producing things. So you just produce as much as possible, and then once you've got all this stuff produced, like you have all these stocks to go out there and sell it, right? Now marketing's come a lot, so much further than that. But relationship marketing has emerged as a dominant mantra in business strategy circles. The premise that relationship marketing positively affects performance is well supported by research. It's just again and again and again, to the point that everyone's just accepted it. And I shouldn't say everyone, but informed business managers have just accepted it, and that's just why we do business. Relationship marketing is more effective when relationships are more critical to customers, and where relationships are built on individual person rather than selling firms. We talk about business-to-business relationships and business-to-consumer relationships, and then indeed interpersonal, where you got your selling staff or your marketing staff forming direct relationships with your customers. So the type. So the key mediating variable in relationship marketing is trust and commitment, with the dominant one being trust. And trust is defined as the customer's expectation to perform as expected based on previous experiences, right? And that's trust is the same trust with in business as it is with like personal relationships. So the outcomes are customer loyalty, cooperation, organizational performance. And now here is a beautiful model that outlines how relationship marketing works. I don't have the actual loading factors, how each of these antecedents load to these key mediating variables and to these outcomes, but they do with different degrees. I've got this on my wall, so it forms. So communication and similarity are big ones, are stronger than just say interaction frequency, which is a bit surprising. Interaction frequency is 0.16, so 16% of that's accounted for, whereas communication is 0.54, so 54%, which is quite high. And relationship investment, which is 46%, and seller expertise is 62.62. So how much these load onto these construct, and then how you get out of there, which is moderated by the type of relationships that we have. Now, I don't expect you to know this in detail, but if you are doing your a service audit, or if you are managing a business and you're trying to work out where to invest your time, effort and money, like your resource allocation stuff, to get these things such as what we all want, such as seller objective performance, which means basically making money, right? Objective performance is profit, or if you're a not-for-profit, it'd be whatever the strategic objectives of that organisation would be. So it's not always profit, but most of the time it is. Customer loyalty, which we want, word of mouth, which we want, expectation of continuity, which is customer customer continuing to stay with our business. All these things in cooperation, so there's less conflict. So you might have good customer loyalty, but if you're always in conflict with your customers, that's not pleasant as well. So cooperation is one of those as well. So these are all beautiful things, and if you want to get these things, you look at, well, how do we do these things? Like the customer focused antecedents, the seller focused antecedents, and dyadic antecedents to get these positive outcomes. All right, here we have a customer relationship management, CRM, and effectively CRM is it's relationship marketing using technology. Like it's more than that, but it's in a simple way. So it's a process by which customer relationships are built and maintained. It involves relationship marketing and information technology. So information technology is like software. So the IT guys are developing software programs to help us manage our customer relationships. And you might think, well, why would we need that? But imagine if you are an account manager or a marketing manager and you go out there and you talk to your customers, you might be seeing 8-10 customers a day, just say 8 customers a day, and you do that over, 40 weeks of the year. That's so many customers. There's no way you're going to be able to remember what you've said to each customer and what your relationship is with them. So it's just a way of us to record, the relationships, how we do that. Now, this is a university, so we talk about the theory of this. I don't really have the time to go into the function of how that works, but the principle of it is pretty straightforward. Like you just customer relationship management. You're keeping records of the relationships that you have, and then you attach. Through the customer relationship management software, you can measure the sales that you make with them, the frequency of the sales, and you put all that together. And a lot of the data that we use to make decisions that we've been talking about in the past, like all the customer value segmentation and the pyramid, all that sort of stuff, comes through customer relationship management software. So CRM enables a successful implementation of the loyalty progress. And here is a model. An integrated framework for CRM strategy. The biggest issue with customer relationship management is the senior management commitment to it. So senior managers go, oh, your customer relationship is good. We can see through research and the science of marketing of how that contributes to us making money and delivering positive outcomes. But then when it actually comes to do it, they can't deliver on it. So they want to do it, but they don't commit enough to actually doing it. So that they go, oh yeah, we want to do it, but they don't invest enough time and effort into actually doing it properly. All right, so here's a model on that. Here's another one about what customer relationship management really comprises, and there's heaps of literature on this because it's the actual doing part of marketing, right? So most of what we've talked about before are these abstract concepts. Now this is what you actually do. So if you were working in a marketing agency, this would be what you'd be doing day to day, CRM stuff. Or if you're working for a business and you're in the sales team, this is what you'd be doing day to day. Going out there, you'd open up your laptop, and the first thing that you'd open for the day is your CRM program, right? So it's actually doing the behaviours of marketing. Common failures of CRM implementation are viewing CRM as a technology, which it is, but it's much more than a technology. So you can't just buy the software and expect it to work, right? You need to buy the software, but then train your staff how to use it. But more importantly, employ people that understand how marketing works so that they know not just about how to functionally use it, but the strategic directions how to do it. So if you go out there and try to use customer relationship management software, but you don't understand things like customer value segmentation or the profitability of customers, like segmentation, targeting, positioning, all this type of stuff, then the CRM will not work properly. So it's there to help professionals, like marketing professionals, do their job better. If you just grab someone off the street that doesn't understand marketing, put them in front of a laptop and go, here's marketing software to help you do your job, they're not going to be able to do it. All right, it's like putting a drafts person, like a drafty, like an architect. You can't just they learn how to draw plans and stuff like that, right? So they use computer aided design, like CAD programs, to do that, right? You can't just grab somebody off the street and go, well, here's a CAD program, go draw a house, or design a building, because the software is there to help them do their marketing. If they don't know how to do marketing, the software is not going to work. And that's a big issue in our industry. Lack of customer focus, insufficient appreciation of customer lifetime value, which is how the value of the customer accumulates over the lifetime of the relationship, and how we measure that. Inadequate support from top management, failure to engineer business processes, and underestimating the challenges in data integration. Right, so that concludes it for this week's section. I know it's a big one, but it's an important one, so I hope you get a lot out of it. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact me.